coming out again. Every year before we do our fireworks display, we read the introduction and preamble to the Declaration of Independence. And this year, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm just going to add a little the conclusion to the Declaration, and then I had one other small thing that I thought fit the occasion for the 250th this year. So, thank you. The Declaration of Independence in Congress, July 4th, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles, and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that government long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. And the Declaration of Independence then lists 27 specific grievances against King George III and concludes with, "We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress, assembled appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these United States colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and all political connections between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all other acts and things which independent states may right of do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." So, and then just one other little thing. You may wonder why we celebrate Independence Day with fireworks. Fireworks have been used in celebrations for centuries prior to our country's independence, but most historians give credit to John Adams. He made this famous prediction in a July 3rd, 1776 letter to his wife Abigail, outlining how he believed Americans should celebrate their independence. The reference to illuminations is what we know today as fireworks. So this is a portion of that letter. "Independence Day will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations and the great anniversary as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be commemorated as the day of deliverance by solemn acts of devotion to God Almighty. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parades, with shoes, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other, from this time forward forevermore. You will think me transported with enthusiasm, but I am not. I am well aware of the toil and blood of treasure that it will cost us to maintain this declaration and support and defend these states. Yet through all the gloom I can see rays of ravishing light and glory. I can see the end is more than worth all the means, and that posterity will triumph in the day's transaction, even although we should rue it, which I trust in God we shall not." John Adams' letters to his wife Abigail, July 3rd, 1776.
Oh yeah, thanks for bringing that.
Every day. And I couldn't think of better people to spend our country's 250th birthday with. Let's do some fire.